The deep space colony ship Terra Nova was 3 months into its journey to the Kepler system when the aliens found it. Captain Rodriguez was drinking his morning coffee when the ship's computer started making sounds he had never heard before. "Sir, we're getting a transmission," said Lieutenant Parks from the communications station. "It's coming from everywhere at once." The main screen flickered to life. What appeared was not what any human had expected to see. A tall, blue-skinned creature with too many eyes stared at them. Its head was shaped like an upside-down triangle, and when it spoke, its voice sounded like someone gargling marbles. "Attention, primitive species," the alien said. "You are in violation of Galactic Law 47B9921. You have entered civilized space without permission. You have ignored 847 official warnings. You have committed the crime of existing without approval from the Zephyrian Galactic Empire." Captain Rodriguez nearly choked on his coffee. 847 warnings? We never got any warnings, Lieutenant Parks shrugged. Maybe they went to spam? The alien continued its speech. "I am War Speaker Clickstar of the mighty Zephyrian Empire. We rule 40,000 star systems. We have conquered 15,000 different species. You will surrender immediately or be destroyed. You have 72 standard hours to respond." The transmission ended. The crew of the Terra Nova sat in silence for a moment. "Well," said Captain Rodriguez, "that's new. The news reached Earth faster than anyone expected. Humanity's first contact with aliens, and they were already in trouble." Admiral Chen Martinez was in his office at Fleet Command when the message came through. He was a short man with gray hair and a sense of humor that had gotten him in trouble many times before. "Let me get this straight," he said to his aide. "These aliens claim they sent us 847 warnings, but we never got any." "That's correct, sir. Our deep space monitoring stations have no record of any alien communications." Martinez looked out his window at Earth's small fleet. 12 ships total. 3 of them were currently broken and being repaired. One was actually a cargo hauler that someone had painted to look military. Another was so old that the crew had to bang on the engine to make it work. "And they rule how many star systems?" 40,000, sir." "Right." Martinez picked up his coffee mug. It had "World's Okayest Admiral" printed on the side. "Get me a communication link to this war speaker thing." It took 6 hours to establish the connection. When the blue alien appeared on the screen again, he looked annoyed. "Primitive human," War Speaker Clickstar said. "Have you prepared your surrender?" Admiral Martinez leaned back in his chair. "Actually, I have a question first. Speak quickly. The Empire's patience grows thin. You said you sent us 847 warnings. Where exactly did you send them?" The alien's eyes, all 6 of them, blinked in sequence. "To your homeworld, of course. Planet designation Dirtball 37. Dirtball 37? Martinez tried not to laugh. "We call it Earth, and I'm pretty sure we would have noticed 847 alien messages." "Impossible. Our records show all warnings were delivered to the correct coordinates." Martinez turned to his aide, who was frantically typing on a computer. "Sir," the aide whispered, "I think they were sending the messages to coordinates where Earth was 10,000 years ago. They didn't account for orbital movement." "Ah," Martinez said. "I see the problem. You guys were sending mail to where we used to be, not where we are now. It's like sending a letter to your friend's old apartment." War Speaker Clickstar's blue skin turned purple. "This is irrelevant. You still violated Imperial space." "Well, here's the thing," Martinez said, settling deeper into his chair. "We didn't know it was your space. You never actually told us it was your space, on account of sending all your messages to empty space. So really, this is more like a misunderstanding than a crime." The alien's head tentacles started twitching. "You dare mock the Empire?" "I'm not mocking anybody. I'm just saying maybe we got off on the wrong foot." "New phone? Who dis?" The transmission cut out abruptly. On the Zephyrian Imperial command ship Eternal Doom, War Speaker Clickstar stared at the blank screen. Around him, the bridge crew was busy working at their stations, trying to look like they hadn't been listening. "Translation department," Clickstar bellowed. A small, nervous alien scurried over. "Yes, War Speaker. What does new phone who dis mean? Is it some kind of human war cry?" The translator's 3 heads looked at each other. We're not sure, sir. Our databases have no record of this phrase. It might be an ancient human battle hymn. Or a threat, suggested another translator. Or a mating call, added a third. Clickstar's tentacles twitched more violently. "Find out what it means. I want a full cultural analysis of this human war cry within 24 hours. Back on Earth, Admiral Martinez was fielding calls from every government leader on the planet. The President of the Americas called first. "Admiral, please tell me you didn't just declare war on a galactic empire." "Of course not, Madam President. I just asked them who they were. By saying new phone who dis, it seemed appropriate at the time." The calls kept coming. The European Federation wanted to know if they should start digging bunkers. The Asian Coalition asked if humanity should surrender immediately. The African Union suggested maybe they should try to trade for better technology. Martinez ignored most of the calls. Instead, he gathered his senior staff in the war room. It was called the war room, but it was really just a conference room with a big screen and a coffee machine that only worked half the time. "All right, people," Martinez said. "We've got aliens threatening to destroy us. They have 40,000 star systems. We have 12 ships and a really good coffee machine. Ideas?" Captain Sarah Kim raised her hand. She was the youngest fleet captain in history and had a reputation for creative thinking. "What if we just keep being ourselves?" "Explain." "Well, they seem confused by simple human behavior. Maybe if we just act normal, they'll get so confused they'll leave us alone." Martinez nodded slowly. "I like it. It's either brilliant or completely insane. With our track record, it's probably both," said Captain Kim. The meeting was interrupted when Lieutenant Parks burst in. "Sir, the aliens are sending another message." On the screen, War Speaker Clickstar looked even more annoyed than before. "Human Admiral, we have analyzed your war cry. We are confused by its meaning." "Explain yourself." Martinez grinned. "Oh, that? That just means, hello, I don't recognize your number. It's what we say when strangers call us." The alien stared for a long moment. Then the screen went black again. In the silence that followed, Captain Kim started laughing. "I think this is going to be more interesting than we thought." Admiral Martinez poured himself another cup of coffee. "Get the word out to all ships. We're going to show these aliens what humanity is really like. Is that wise, sir?" Martinez shrugged. "Probably not. But it'll definitely be fun." The Zephyrian 3rd Assault Fleet arrived at the edge of Earth's solar system exactly 72 hours later. 100 massive warships, each one larger than anything humans had ever built. Their hulls were black as space itself, covered in weapons that could destroy planets. Fleet Commander Vashiri stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Death Shadow. He was taller than most Zephyrians, with scars across his blue skin that told stories of 1,000 battles. He had conquered 17 star systems in his career. Humans, he expected, would be easy. "Long-range sensors detect primitive vessels approaching," reported his tactical officer. "One ship, small size, minimal weapons." "One ship?" Vashri laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "They send one ship. Against our fleet? These humans are even more foolish than I thought." The human ship was indeed small compared to the alien vessels. It was the UTS Absolute unit, and it had once been a cargo hauler used to transport mining equipment between asteroids. Someone had welded extra armor plates to the hull and bolted on whatever weapons they could find. It looked like it had been built by committee and painted by children. Captain Sarah Kim sat in the commander's chair, which was actually a reclining chair someone had stolen from a luxury hotel. Around her, the bridge crew worked at stations that were a mix of military equipment and civilian electronics held together with hope and duct tape. "Incoming transmission from the alien fleet," announced Communications Officer Davis. "They want to talk." "Put them on screen," Kim said, adjusting her captain's hat. It was a baseball cap with "World's Greatest Mom" embroidered on it, but she had crossed out "Mom" and written "Captain" in marker. Fleet Commander Vashri appeared on the screen, all scary and intimidating. "Primitive humans, I am Fleet Commander Vashri of the Zephyrian 3rd Assault Fleet. You will surrender immediately or be destroyed." Captain Kim smiled brightly. "Hello? Welcome to the Sol system. We're so excited to meet you. We've prepared a special cultural exchange program just for your visit." Vashiri's 6 eyes blinked in confusion. "Cultural exchange? You are about to be conquered." "Oh, that sounds fun too. But first, let us share some of our culture with you. It's the polite thing to do when guests arrive." Before the alien commander could respond, Kim nodded to her communications officer. Suddenly, every Zephyrian ship in the fleet started receiving transmissions from Earth. The first thing that hit the alien communication systems was something humans called reality TV. Specifically, a show about people arguing over who ate the last piece of cake. The Zephyrian translators worked frantically to understand why humans would broadcast their domestic disputes to strangers. "Why is the female with yellow hair crying about dairy-based dessert?" asked one confused tactical officer. "Perhaps it's a religious ceremony," suggested another. Then came the memes. Thousands of images of cats making angry faces, humans doing stupid dances, and something called distracted boyfriend that the aliens' computers couldn't process at all. Their advanced battle systems, designed to calculate weapons trajectories and fleet movements, started overheating trying to analyze why humans found these images amusing. The worst part was the music. Humans had decided to introduce their new alien friends to the full range of Earth's musical heritage. Classical symphonies mixed with death metal, followed by something called K-pop, then country music, then whatever genre Baby Shark belonged to. On the bridge of Death's Shadow, Fleet Commander Vashri watched his crew slowly descend into madness. "Sir," called his communications officer, "the humans are now sending us something called Gangnam Style. Our computers don't know what to do with it." "It's a dance," explained the cultural analysis officer. "But the movements make no tactical sense." "Turn it off." "We can't, sir. They're broadcasting on all frequencies simultaneously." The breaking point came when the humans started sending cooking shows. Not just any cooking shows, but competitive. Cooking shows where humans screamed at each other about food preparation. The Zephyrian military mind, trained to understand conflict and warfare, could not comprehend why beings would engage in ritualized combat over the proper way to prepare something called a souffle. Captain Kim watched the alien fleet's formation slowly fall apart as individual ships started drifting out of position. She opened a communication channel to the entire fleet. "Attention Zephyrian visitors. Are you enjoying our cultural presentation? We have so much more to share. Wait until you see our cat videos." On cue, the humans began broadcasting every cat video in Earth's internet history. Cats falling off things. Cats being afraid of cucumbers. Cats knocking things off tables for no apparent reason. The aliens' tactical computers, trying to analyze these transmissions for hidden military intelligence, began making concerning beeping sounds. Fleet Commander Vashri was developing what humans would recognize as a headache. Why do they record their small predators failing at basic motor functions? "Perhaps the cats are showing us human weaknesses," suggested his tactical officer hopefully. "Or it's psychological warfare," said the intelligence officer. "Look at this one called Keyboard Cat. It makes no sense, but I cannot stop watching." Meanwhile, Captain Kim was having the time of her life. Communications. Send them our nature documentaries. Start with the one about honey badgers. "Which one, Captain?" "All of them." The Zephyrian fleet was now receiving detailed information about Earth's wildlife. They learned about honey badgers that didn't care about anything, dolphins that were apparently super intelligent, but spent most of their time playing pranks, penguins that walked thousands of miles just to find the perfect pebble for their mate. "Their planet is inhabited by insane creatures," reported the xenobiology officer. "There's something called a platypus that shouldn't exist, but does anyway." "And humans live with these things?" asked Vashri. "Apparently they keep some as companions. They have creatures called dogs that are loyal to the point of irrationality, and cats that are completely selfish but somehow still beloved." The final straw came when the humans sent over their sports highlights, specifically footage of extreme sports where humans deliberately put themselves in danger for entertainment. Base jumping, free climbing, something called parkour, where humans ran directly at walls and somehow went over them. The Zephyrian military doctrine emphasized calculated risks and strategic thinking. Watching humans throw themselves off cliffs with nothing but a fabric wing was causing their officers to question everything they knew about intelligent behavior. "Sir," said the fleet psychiatrist, "I'm getting reports from across the fleet. Our crews are experiencing what I can only describe as existential confusion. They don't understand why humans do anything." Fleet Commander Vashri watched a video of a human jumping off a mountain while screaming with what appeared to be joy. "I'm beginning to understand their confusion." "Orders, sir?" Vashri looked at his tactical display. His perfectly organized battle fleet was now scattered across local space, as individual captains tried to process what they were seeing. 3. Ships had requested permission to retreat to a safe distance. One captain was asking for a transfer to a different galaxy entirely. "Send a message to the humans," Bashiri said finally. Captain Kim received the transmission with obvious delight. "Fleet Commander, did you enjoy our cultural presentation?" Your culture is very comprehensive," Bashiri said carefully. "Oh, this is just the beginning. Wait until you see our game shows and our political debates, and we haven't even started on our internet comment sections yet." Fleet Commander Bashiri felt something he had never experienced in 200 years of military service: genuine fear. Not of human weapons or technology, but of human humanity itself. "Perhaps," he said slowly, "we should discuss terms." Captain Kim clapped her hands together. "Wonderful. I'll make popcorn." "What is popcorn?" Kim's smile got wider. "Oh, you're going to love this." War Commander Zelkar arrived at the Sol system 3 days later, bringing with him the pride of the Zephyrian military and a very bad mood. He had been called in to fix what Fleet Commander Bashiri had somehow managed to mess up against primitive humans. Zelkar was everything a Zephyrian warrior should be. 8 feet tall, covered in battle scars with muscles that could crush steel. He had personally conquered 47 worlds and had never lost a single battle. His ship, the Ultimate Vengeance, was the most advanced warship in the Imperial fleet. "Report," he demanded as soon as he arrived at the command center. Fleet Commander Bashiri looked tired. His normally perfect uniform was wrinkled and one of his eyes was twitching. "The humans, they are not what we expected. They are primitives with 12 ships. How difficult can they be?" "They sent us videos of cats, sir." Zelkar stared at him. "Cats? Small predatory mammals. But they don't hunt properly. They just knock things off elevated surfaces and sleep for 20 hours a day. The humans find this amusing." "You were defeated by cat videos?" There were also cooking programs and something called interpretive dance. War Commander Zelkar decided that Fleet Commander Bashiri had clearly suffered some kind of breakdown. "Stand aside. I will handle this properly. These humans need to learn what happens when they mock the Empire." He opened a communication channel to the human fleet. Captain Sarah Kim appeared on screen, still wearing her world's greatest captain baseball cap. She was eating something from a bag and offered it toward the camera. "Want some? It's trail mix. Great for long space trips." "Silence," Zelkar roared. "I am War Commander Zelkar of the Imperial 4th Battle Group. Your mockery of the Empire ends now." "Oh, hi, are you Bashiri's boss?" "He's really nice. We sent him some of our music collections." "Did he share?" Zelkar's jaw muscles bulged. "The Empire demands satisfaction for the insults you have given us. I challenge your strongest warrior to single combat." Kim perked up with interest. "Single combat? That sounds fun. When and where?" "The asteroid field in your outer system. Tomorrow at noon, your planetary time. Your champion will face mine in honorable battle. When we win, you will surrender immediately." "And if we win?" Zelkar laughed, a sound like breaking bones. "You will not win. But if by some miracle you do, we will consider your terms. Deal. We'll send our champion tomorrow." "This is exciting." The transmission ended. Zelkar turned to his staff with satisfaction. "Finally, we will settle this properly. Ready my personal combat mech. These humans will learn to respect Zephyrian power." His aide looked nervous. "Sir, shouldn't we scan their fleet first? Determine which of their warriors is the strongest?" "Unnecessary. No human can match Zephyrian might in battle." If Zelkar had bothered to scan the human ships, he might have been confused by what he found. The humans were indeed preparing their champion, but she was not what anyone would expect. Emma Rodriguez was 12 years old, barely 5 feet tall, and the current galactic champion of a video game called Mech Warrior Supreme. She had started playing when she was 7 and had never lost a match against any human player. She was also the daughter of Captain Rodriguez from the Terra Nova, who had started this whole mess. "Are you sure about this?" her father asked as they prepared the combat suit. "Dad, relax. It's just like the game, but with real physics. I got this." The combat suit was actually a construction exoskeleton used for building space stations. Someone had painted it bright pink and purple, added extra armor plates, and installed the most advanced gaming computer they could find. On the chest, someone had written, "Emma's Awesome Mech," in glittery letters. The next day, both fleets gathered around the asteroid field. War Commander Zelkar climbed into his personal battle mech, a 30-foot-tall monster of weapons and armor that had crushed the champions of 17 different worlds. Its hull was polished black metal covered in spikes, and it carried enough firepower to level a small city. Emma's mech was half the size and looked like it had been decorated by a kindergarten class having a glitter emergency. "Behold," Zelkar announced over the communication channels. "The Death Incarnate, piloted by the greatest warrior in Zephyrian history." "Cool," Emma's voice came back, bright and cheerful. "This is the Sparkle Princess, piloted by me." "Hi, everyone." The two mechs faced each other in the asteroid field. Zelkar activated his weapon systems targeting computers and tactical displays. Emma cracked her knuckles and started talking. "Okay, big guy, here's how this works. We're gonna play laser tag, but with more explosions. Try to keep up, yeah? Impudent child. Face your doom." Zelkar fired his main cannon, a blast of energy that could punch through a battleship's armor. Emma's mech wasn't there anymore. It had somehow dodged to the side and was now hiding behind an asteroid. "Wow, you're slow," Emma's voice came over the comm. "My grandma moves faster than that, and she's been dead for 6 years. Show yourself and fight with honor." "Honor's boring. Let's play hide-and-seek instead." What followed was the strangest battle in Zephyrian military history. War Commander Zelkar, master of conventional warfare, found himself playing a deadly game of tag with a 12-year-old human girl who treated the entire thing like an arcade game. Emma used the asteroids like a jungle gym, bouncing her mech from rock to rock with moves that should have been impossible. She seemed to know exactly where Zelkar was going to shoot before he shot, dodging attacks by inches while making comments that grew increasingly insulting. "Ooh, that was close. You almost hit me that time."
"Stand still!"
"Why would I do that? That's like the opposite of good tactics. Haven't you ever played video games?" "I am a warrior. I do not play games." "Well, that explains why you suck at this." Zelkar was beginning to understand why Fleet Commander Vashri had looked so tired. The human girl was doing something to his tactical computer. Every time he tried to lock on to her position, she would do something that made no sense according to Zephyrian combat doctrine. She used her mech's construction tools like weapons, throwing tools that confused his targeting systems. She bounced laser shots off asteroid surfaces to hit him from impossible angles. Worst of all, she kept talking. "You know, for a scary alien war machine, you're not very scary. Are you sure you're doing this right? I have conquered 47 worlds. Were they all this easy? Because I'm literally just hitting the dodge button over and over, and you can't touch me." That was when something in War Commander Zelkar's mind snapped. He had dedicated his entire life to military perfection. He had studied every form of combat known to the galaxy. He was the ultimate warrior, and a human child was making him look like an amateur. "Enough," he screamed, firing every weapon he had at once. Emma's mech disappeared in a cloud of explosions and debris. For a moment, there was silence across the comm channels. Then Emma's voice came back, slightly muffled. "Okay, that was actually pretty cool. But you missed." The Sparkle Princess emerged from behind an asteroid where Emma had taken cover at the last second. It was scratched and dented, but still functional. "My turn," Emma announced cheerfully. What she did next would be studied by military tacticians for generations. Using nothing but her construction mech's industrial tools, she systematically dismantled Zelkar's combat suit piece by piece. She removed his weapons with precision cuts, disabled his engines with perfect tool placement, and finally left him floating helplessly in space. "Good game," Emma said as her mech drifted past his disabled one. "You're not terrible for a beginner. Maybe try the tutorial next time?" War Commander Zelkar sat in his powerless mech, staring at the human girl's cheerful face on his communication screen. His entire worldview was crumbling. He had been defeated by a child who treated warfare like a game. "How?" he whispered. "Practice mostly, and you telegraphed all your moves. Plus, your mech is way too big. Big targets are easy to hit, but they're also easy to avoid if you're smart about it." "I don't understand," Emma shrugged. "It's okay. Not everyone's good at games. Want me to recommend some good tutorial videos?" That was when War Commander Zelkar, the terror of 47 star systems, began to cry. It started as a small sob, but quickly grew into full hysterics broadcast across every channel in both fleets. "I trained for 200 years, he wailed. "I am the ultimate warrior. How can I be defeated by a small human?" Emma looked genuinely concerned. Hey, don't cry. You did pretty good for someone who's never played before. Here, let me call my dad to come pick you up. And that was how humanity's greatest military victory was won by a 12-year-old girl who just really liked video games. Emperor Vexthal was having the worst month of his 3,000-year reign. 2 of his best fleet commanders had been defeated by humans. One had been psychologically broken by cat videos, and the other was still in therapy after being beaten in combat by a human child. The Emperor was not used to failure. The Zephyrian Empire had conquered most of the galaxy through superior technology and overwhelming force. No species had ever resisted them successfully, and certainly none had ever made them look foolish. The Imperial Dreadnought Infinite Vengeance emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system. It was a massive ship, 20 miles long and bristling with enough weapons to destroy entire planets. It carried 10,000 Imperial Guard troops and the most advanced technology in the galaxy. Emperor Vexthal stood on the bridge, his impressive height making him tower over his crew. His ceremonial armor was covered in precious metals and jewels from 100 conquered worlds. His crown was made from the crystallized tears of defeated enemies. "Status report," he commanded. "Long-range sensors detect the human fleet, Your Imperial Majesty," reported the tactical officer. Still only 12 ships, 3 of which appear to be held together with some kind of adhesive tape. And they defeated 2 of our fleets with this pathetic force? The intelligence officer stepped forward nervously. "Actually, Your Majesty, technically they never engaged our fleets in traditional combat. They used unconventional methods." Emperor Vexthal had read the reports. He still didn't believe them. "Summon their leader for a diplomatic meeting. I will show them what real power looks like." The message was sent to the human fleet. The response came back within an hour. "Your Imperial Majesty," announced the communications officer, "the humans have agreed to send a diplomatic representative. She will arrive in 2 hours aboard a ship called the Diplomatic Immunity." "Good. Finally. We can resolve this matter properly." The Emperor waited in his grand throne room, surrounded by the magnificent artwork and treasures of 1,000 conquered civilizations. Imperial guards lined the walls, each one a genetically enhanced super soldier. Everything was designed to intimidate and impress visitors with the power and glory of the Empire. The human diplomat arrived exactly on time. Emperor Vexthal had expected someone military, like their Admiral Martinez or perhaps a serious politician. What he got was something completely different. Ambassador Rebecca Jones was a middle-aged human woman wearing a simple blue business suit and comfortable shoes. She had graying hair, laugh lines around her eyes, and was carrying what appeared to be a briefcase covered in stickers from various Earth vacation spots. "Your Imperial Majesty," she said with a slight bow, "thank you for agreeing to this meeting. I'm Rebecca Jones, and I'll be your diplomatic representative today." The Emperor studied her carefully. She seemed normal, too normal. "You are humanity's greatest diplomat?" "Oh no," Rebecca laughed. "I'm actually a stand-up comedian. But I did take a weekend course in international relations, so I'm probably overqualified." Several Imperial guards shifted uncomfortably. The Emperor's advisor whispered urgently in his ear. "Your Majesty, our intelligence suggests this may be some form of psychological warfare." Emperor Vexthal decided to proceed carefully. "Very well, Ambassador Jones, you have requested this meeting. State your terms." Rebecca opened her briefcase and pulled out a thick stack of papers. "Certainly. Humanity's terms for surrender are right here." She handed the documents to the Emperor. Vexthal took the papers and began reading. His expression grew more confused with each page. This appears to be instructions for making some kind of food item." "Chocolate chip cookies," Rebecca confirmed. "They're delicious. Very popular on Earth. We thought you might like the recipe. But these are supposed to be surrender terms." "They are. We surrender our recipe to you free of charge. Also included are our terms for your surrender, which are on page 23. The Emperor flipped to page 23. It contained a single line of text, "Get good." "What does this mean?" Rebecca pulled out her phone and showed him a video. "It means get good. It's what we say when someone needs to improve their skills. Here, let me show you some examples." What followed was an hour-long presentation of internet memes, viral videos, and social media trends. Rebecca explained concepts like trolling, meme warfare, and going viral with the enthusiasm of a kindergarten teacher, introducing children to finger painting. Emperor Vexthul found himself oddly fascinated despite his growing confusion. So humans create these images to communicate complex emotional states. Exactly. Like this one. She showed him a picture of a dog sitting in a burning room with the caption, "This is fine." It represents the human ability to remain optimistic in hopeless situations, but the canine is clearly in danger. Why is it expressing contentment? That's the joke. See, humans often use humor to cope with terrible situations. It's like a defense mechanism, but funnier. The Emperor's advisor leaned over. "Your Majesty, perhaps we should discuss actual terms of surrender." Rebecca overheard and nodded enthusiastically. "Oh yes, let's talk about your surrender. We're very excited about it." "My surrender?" The Emperor's voice rose several octaves. "Well, sure. You came all this way to surrender to humanity, right?" "That's so thoughtful." "Most species make us come to them. We are here to accept your surrender." Rebecca looked genuinely confused. "But why would we surrender? We're having so much fun. Look, I brought videos of our cities." She pulled out a tablet and started showing footage from Earth. But instead of showing humanity's greatest achievements, she had somehow collected every disaster movie ever made. Explosions, monster attacks, alien invasions, natural disasters, and zombie outbreaks flashed across the screen. "This is what you do for entertainment?" the Emperor asked, horrified. "Oh, this is just the mild stuff. Wait until you see what we call reality TV. People voluntarily put themselves in terrible situations and we watch them suffer for fun." She showed him clips from survival shows, dating programs, and something called Extreme Makeover Demon Edition, where humans deliberately made their living spaces look like haunted houses. Your species enjoys watching other members of your species experience trauma? Only if it's voluntary. We're not monsters. Well, except on weekends, but that's mostly just cosplay. Emperor Vexthul was beginning to understand why his fleet commanders had seemed so shaken. "Ambassador Jones, let me be direct. The Zephyrian Empire has the power to destroy your entire planet. We could turn Earth into cosmic dust." Rebecca nodded thoughtfully. "That would be pretty impressive. Can we watch? We've never seen a planet get destroyed before. I bet it would look amazing on camera. You want to watch your own planet being destroyed? Well, sure. Think of the views. We could live stream it, sell tickets, make it into a movie. Earth, the final season. It would be huge." She pulled up her phone again. "Actually, let me call the networks. I bet we could get a bidding war going for the broadcast rights." "Stop," the Emperor commanded. "You cannot possibly want to die." "Oh, we don't want to die." "That would be boring. But if we're going to die, we might as well make it interesting. Plus, humans love a good underdog story." "Tiny planet faces giant empire. That's Oscar material right there." The Emperor stared at her. "You are insane. Thank you. That's very sweet of you to say." Rebecca beamed at him. "You know, you're much nicer than your reputation suggested. The other aliens made you sound all scary and threatening, but you're actually pretty friendly." "I am threatening. I am the Emperor of 40,000 star systems." "That's amazing." "You must have great organizational skills. I can barely manage my apartment, and it's just one room. Here, would you like to see pictures of my cat?" Before the Emperor could respond, Rebecca was showing him photos of a fat orange cat sleeping in various ridiculous positions. "His name is Mr. Whiskers, and he's basically the laziest creature in the universe. Yesterday I found him sleeping inside his food bowl. I don't know how he even fit in there." Despite himself, Emperor Vexthul found the images oddly calming. "It does appear remarkably relaxed, right? I wish I could be that chill about everything. Oh, that reminds me." She dug around in her briefcase and pulled out a small package. "I brought you a gift." She handed him a coffee mug with Galaxy's Best Emperor printed on the side. Emperor Vexthul stared at the mug. In 3,000 years of rule, no one had ever given him a gift that wasn't tribute, bribery, or an attempt to curry favor. This human woman had given him a drinking vessel with a compliment on it, apparently for no reason other than politeness. "Why?" he asked quietly. "Because you seem like you're having a rough day, and everyone deserves a nice mug." For the first time in centuries, Emperor Vexthul was completely speechless. "Anyway," Rebecca continued, "should we schedule your surrender ceremony? I'm thinking something casual, maybe a potluck. Everyone brings a dish to share." The Emperor looked at the mug in his hands. then at the cheerful human woman who had somehow made him forget he was supposed to be conquering her species. "I need to think about this," he said finally. "Of course. Take all the time you need. Oh, and I almost forgot." She handed him a business card. "If you ever want to try stand-up comedy, give me a call. You've got great timing." The full Imperial Armada arrived at Earth on a Tuesday morning. 10,000 warships dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation, blotting out the stars. It was the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history, capable of destroying entire solar systems. Emperor Vexthul stood on the bridge of his flagship, holding the coffee mug Rebecca Jones had given him. He had spent 3 days thinking about their meeting, and he was more confused than ever. No species had ever treated Imperial conquest like a social event before. "All ships report ready, Your Imperial Majesty," announced Fleet Admiral Korthaz. "We have Earth completely surrounded. They have no escape." The Emperor looked at the tactical display showing Earth's pathetic defense fleet. Still 12 ships, 3 still held together with tape. "Open a channel to the planet." The transmission reached every human on Earth simultaneously. Emperor Vexthul's face appeared on screens everywhere, from Times Square to rural farmhouses to the International Space Station. "People of Earth," he began, trying to sound as threatening as possible. "You are surrounded by the full might of the Zephyrian Imperial Armada. Your resistance ends now. Surrender immediately, or we will reduce your planet to dust." The response was not what he expected. Instead of panic, terror, or desperate pleas for mercy, the humans did something that broke every rule of military conquest. They started rating the alien ships like they were watching a movie. "Ooh, those are some nice-looking battleships. I give the formation a 7 out of 10. Good spacing, but they're blocking our view of Mars. Has anyone started a betting pool on how long this takes? I love what they've done with the skull motifs. Very retro scary." Within minutes, social media was flooded with selfies. Humans were taking pictures of themselves with the alien invasion fleet in the background, making peace signs and duck faces. Someone had already created an Instagram filter that put little alien ships around your head like a halo. Emperor Vexthul watched the human response with growing bewilderment. Are they not afraid?" "It appears not, Your Majesty," replied the intelligence officer. "They seem to be treating this as some form of entertainment." "Entertainment? We are about to destroy their civilization." Perhaps they don't understand the seriousness of their situation. The Emperor opened a direct communication channel to Admiral Martinez at Fleet Command. "Admiral Martinez, do you comprehend what is happening? Your planet is about to be destroyed." Martinez appeared on screen, sitting in his office with his feet up on his desk. He was eating a sandwich and seemed remarkably calm for someone facing imminent death. "Oh hey, Your Imperial Majesty. Nice fleet you've got there, very impressive. Did you get the thank you card we sent for the mug?" "Thank you card? Yeah, we sent it yesterday. Rebecca mentioned you seemed like you were having a rough time, so we thought a nice card might cheer you up." "You sent me a greeting card in the middle of a military invasion?" "Well, sure. It's the polite thing to do. Plus, it had a picture of a kitten on it. Everyone loves kittens." Emperor Vexthul felt that strange headache coming back. "Admiral, I am trying to conquer your planet." "Right, and you're doing a great job, very dramatic. But we figured, why not be nice about it? Just because you're invading doesn't mean we can't be friends." That was when the real madness began. Humans started doing what they did best, being aggressively helpful to people who didn't want their help. Care packages began launching from Earth's surface. Not weapons or military supplies, but actual care packages. Cookies, coffee, homemade sweaters, and hand-drawn pictures from school children. Each package was addressed to specific ships in the Imperial fleet. "Sir," called the communications officer on the Infinite Vengeance, "we're receiving care packages from the planet's surface. This one is addressed to the scary alien ship with the cool spikes." "What's in it?" "Hot chocolate mix, marshmallows, and what appears to be a friendship bracelet made from colorful string." Emperor Vexthul stared at the package. "They're sending us friendship bracelets. Also a note, Your Majesty. It says, 'Thank you for visiting our solar system. Hope you're having fun. Stay warm in space. Love, Mrs. Henderson's 3rd grade class, Similar reports came in from across the fleet. The humans had somehow identified every ship in the armada and sent personalized gifts to each one. Battlecruiser crews found themselves receiving knitted scarves. Fighter pilots got homemade cookies with little notes saying things like "fly safe" and "hope you're having a good day." The psychological effect on the Imperial forces was devastating. These warriors had trained their entire lives to conquer and destroy. They had conquered hundreds of worlds through fear and superior firepower, but no one had ever prepared them for aggressive kindness from their intended victims. Battle Group 7 reports they've received a package containing something called comfort food, reported Fleet Admiral Korth as. The crews are confused. What kind of confusion? They don't know how to respond to unsolicited gifts from enemies, sir. Some of the younger soldiers are asking if they should send thank you notes. The breaking point came when humanity launched their ultimate weapon, social media adoption. It started with someone creating a Facebook group called Adopt an Alien Ship. Within hours, millions of humans had joined. Each ship in the Imperial fleet was assigned a human family who would send regular updates about life on Earth, share family photos, and offer emotional support. The Death's Vengeance, a terrifying dreadnought with a crew of hardened warriors, suddenly found itself receiving daily messages from the Johnson family in Nebraska. "Hi guys, hope you're having a good day up there. Little Timmy lost his first tooth today. We thought you'd like to know. Here's a picture of him with the tooth fairy money." Similar messages flooded every ship in the fleet. Humans shared their daily lives with their adopted alien vessels. Baby pictures, wedding announcements, graduation, ceremonies, pet videos, cooking failures, and random thoughts about the weather. The Imperial soldiers, trained for warfare and conquest, found themselves emotionally invested in human families they had never met. Hardened warriors were following the romantic drama of Jennifer and Mike from Texas. Battle-scarred veterans were celebrating when little Emma from Australia finally learned to ride her bicycle. "Your Majesty," reported the fleet psychiatrist, "our soldiers are experiencing what can only be described as affection for the enemy. Battle Group 12 is asking for permission to attend something called a virtual birthday party for a human child named Kevin." Emperor Vexthul felt his carefully constructed military campaign falling apart. "Can we not just ignore these transmissions?" "We tried, sir, but the humans keep sending them on frequencies our life support systems use. We can't block them without suffocating ourselves." "Then jam all communications." "Sir, if we do that, we won't be able to coordinate our own fleet movements." The Emperor was trapped. Every military option led to more human friendliness. It was like trying to fight fog with a sword. The final straw came during what humans called movie night. Earth began broadcasting its cultural classics to the Imperial fleet. Not weapons demonstrations or military propaganda, but actual entertainment. They started with comedies. The Imperial forces found themselves watching something called The Princess Bride, followed by Galaxy Quest and then Men in Black. The humans had somehow chosen the perfect movies to completely undermine everything the aliens thought they knew about warfare and conquest. Emperor Vexthul found himself laughing at scenes where humans outsmarted advanced alien civilizations through cleverness and humor. It was like watching a documentary about his own defeat. "Sir," whispered Fleet Admiral Korth, "the crew is asking if we can request the sequel to this Star Wars thing. Apparently there are several of them." That was the moment Emperor Vexthul finally understood what was happening. The humans weren't fighting them with weapons or technology. They were fighting with something far more powerful, the irresistible human ability to make friends with absolutely anyone. His warriors weren't being defeated, they were being adopted. "Open a channel to Admiral Martinez," he said quietly. Martinez appeared on screen, still eating. This time it was pizza. "Your Imperial Majesty, how's it going? Are your crews enjoying the movie marathon?" "Admiral Martinez," the Emperor said carefully, "what exactly are you doing?" Martinez shrugged. "Being ourselves, mostly. Turns out when you put 10,000 alien ships in our solar system, we've got 10,000 new neighbors. And we're pretty friendly neighbors. But we came here to conquer you." "Yeah, I figured. but you seem like nice folks, and conquest sounds like it would be super stressful for everyone involved. So we thought, why not skip all that and just be friends instead? You can't just make friends with an invading army. Why not? You're here, we're here, nobody's shooting anybody yet. Seems like a good foundation for friendship to me. Emperor Vexthul looked around his bridge. His officers were quietly watching the conversation, and several of them were wearing the friendship bracelets human children had sent them. But we're supposed to be enemies. Says who? We never voted on it. Did you guys vote on it? We don't vote on military campaigns. Well, there's your problem right there. Very inefficient decision-making process. Have you considered democracy? We could send you some books about it. That night, Emperor Vexthul sat alone in his quarters, holding his coffee mug and staring out at Earth. The planet looked so small and fragile, surrounded by his massive fleet, but somehow impossibly the humans had won. They hadn't won through superior firepower or advanced technology. They had won by being so relentlessly, authentically human that his entire military force had been emotionally disarmed. His door chimed. Enter. Fleet Admiral Korthaz walked in, looking embarrassed. Your Majesty, the crews are asking. That is, they wanted me to inquire. Would it be possible to extend our stay? Extend our stay? Several of the adopted families have invited their ships to virtual holiday celebrations, sir. The crews are quite excited about something called Thanksgiving. Apparently it involves large quantities of food and expressing gratitude. Emperor Vexthul set down his mug and made the hardest decision of his 3,000-year reign. Admiral, send a message to Imperial Command. Tell them Earth is to be classified as a protected world. No Imperial forces are to approach this system. Sir, what reason should I give? The Emperor thought for a moment. Tell them the humans are too dangerous to conquer. Too dangerous, sir? Yes. They're armed with weaponized friendship and tactical kindness. Our forces are completely defenseless against it. And our fleet, Your Majesty? Emperor Vexthul looked out at Earth again, where millions of humans were probably making plans to send his warriors holiday gifts and birthday cards for the next 50 years. Signal the fleet to stand down. It appears we're staying for Thanksgiving. Should I inform the humans, sir? I think they already know. And indeed they did. Within minutes of the Imperial announcement, Earth's communication networks exploded with celebration. Not because they had defeated a galactic empire, but because they had made 10,000 new friends. The victory party lasted 3 days and was broadcast live to the entire Imperial fleet, who found themselves invited to participate via video link. In the end, humanity didn't conquer the galaxy through war or politics or superior technology. They conquered it the same way they conquered everything else, by being so genuinely, impossibly themselves that resistance became literally unthinkable. Within a year, the Zephyrian Empire had unofficially adopted human customs across 40,000 star systems. Democracy became surprisingly popular. Coffee consumption increased by 3,000%, and being nice to people was formally recognized as a legitimate military strategy. Emperor Vexthul eventually retired and moved to a small farm in Iowa, where he grew the galaxy's best tomatoes and learned to play something called bluegrass music. The greatest conquest in galactic history had been achieved not through force of arms, but through the irresistible power of humans being human. And everyone lived happily ever after because that's what humans do.